So hi, we're the instant messaging system group. I'm Tim. And
Lee.
I'm Zach.
So the requirements for our project were we were going to set up, we're going to use 2 Nexus boards to communicate between the two and print out messages on each LCD screen. So users can type messages using the UART keyboard, and they're displayed on each line, so whatever you're writing is displayed on the top line of the LCD, and what's the other person sending to you is displayed on the second line.
This is our basic hardware overview. Up here we have the block diagram, and here's our microblaze, and pretty much everything happens on the on-chip peripheral bus. So we have 2 GPIOs. One is the data bits for the LCD, and the other is the control bits for the LCD. And then we have 2 UARTs. One is for the keyboard, and the other one is for the transmit and receive between the 2 Nexus boards. And this is our physical hardware block diagram with the 2 Nexus boards, receive, transmit between the 2, and instead of just crisscrossing the 2 receive and transmit, we just changed the pinouts on the constraints file.
So for our software flow, it's pretty sequential. We start off with initializing the GPIOs and all controls. And let's see, so we just have 3 conditional statements. We wait for the user to push a button, and if the user does, then that character is sent to the LCD, and then it's also stored internally in a string. And then if the user does not press anything, then we're waiting for a message to come through. And once a message does come through, we load the characters. We load the message. We store the message character by character into a string, and then we print it character by character into the second line of the LCD. And let's see. The hardest part of the software design was getting the timing right for the UART to receive. But really all you have to do is pull the status register of the UART to make sure that you have a valid bit, and then that the valid bit clears, and you find the next one.
Alright, so we got our basic functionality of sending and receiving text messages between both boards, just using the UART. And a couple of issues is just we're only able to send and receive lowercase characters and most of the punctuations. And another problem that we had was just being unable to receive strings that are larger than 15 characters. So if you send a string that's larger than 15 characters, it won't be received until another message is sent. That was pretty much all of our problems. Any questions?
Can you backspace?
Yes.
Are the keyboards at different frequencies? Just curious.
They are different frequencies, so
Different
as
baud
well
rate.
as switching the pins on the constraints file, you also need 2 different clock frequencies.
Okay.
And so,
We've got 2 laptops set up. Each one has, it's pretty much the same code except for the keyboard clock.
Yeah, that's what I was curious
Yeah.
about.
the software is exactly the same.
Cool.
Or my Nexus board right here. I could type a message and it'll come up. If I hit backspace, it'll clear the message. And this is all being stored also with that string I mentioned. So when I hit enter, it sends the message and it appears on the other side. And Tim can send me messages back. And it appears over here. That one bug we mentioned, if I try to type a long string, it doesn't show up, but if I type any other message, the previous string will show up. That's just one of the bugs that we encountered. Yeah, we spent a lot of time sending silly messages to each other.
Can you guys send messages at the same time, or?
I think so. Okay, type something, and 1, 2, 3. It's hard to get them both the same, but
Okay.
yeah. So there we go.
The end is enter.
The return key sends the message. Yeah.
So,
Did
Good.
Do you know why that occurs, the bug?
I think it's because we initialize our string to like 17 characters. So when the way I have it, it puts a null character at the end of the string, and so if you type the message and press enter, the null character just isn't found by the other side until you send it again. I'd have to dig deep in the code to.
yeah. So originally,
Find out what that is.
what we wanted to do next was to make it so that you could actually write a super long message and send it, and then be able to scroll back and forth using the arrow buttons. But we did do this in like a week, so
Get this done.
yeah. 'Cause originally we were gonna use the iClicker, and then that went down, and then we were gonna use these to send messages back and forth. But I think we actually got somewhere with that, but we
But
didn't
it
realize
was too
it.
late. Yeah, we finally got something back from the chip on Monday, and that just didn't leave enough time to figure out what was going on.
So we kind of went with this other method, but
You got the structure all set up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's all good.
so.